All right, welcome H Radio 223 part-timers to another week of, another week of virtual lessons. I have explained in the group. This will be the last one. Please excuse and accept my apology for just confusing the weeks around from last week to this week. But I will see you most definitely guaranteed it's all synchronized back together to what we are supposed to. In other words, a live session will be a live class will be happening next weekend, and that is the weekend of the 20. Let me just give it to you here. Just get this right up here for you. Just give me a second. Where is this, Chris? Just give me a second. It's the weekend of the 30th. That's right. Okay, so 30th, I will see you in class, like again, on Teams link, which is shared in the WhatsApp folder. Not folder, in the WhatsApp group, right. Okay, we're starting something cool and brand new. So we moved on from news. I know it felt like forever because it was something that we did start off with last semester, and obviously has a major impact on your formative three. Please, if you don't or haven't gone through the F3, there is a video that I did upload. I know I kept saying I must just stick to what I want to say or what I've said. I did keep saying that I'd rather have it not recorded and rather interacted with you specifically because I know there's a lot more clarity that comes from an F3 being, delivered like on a one-to-one. But okay, because the weeks have just been passing, that's why the recording is there. And when I do see you next week, we will put some time aside for covering the actual F3 again in class, like I say, face to face. All right. So we are starting something new, which is promotions and queue building, executions and strategies. So looking at competitions and activations and how that obviously increases some loyalty from our listeners. How do we put that all together? We're going to start off nice and slow with quite a short lecture here, but um, I've got a great TED. It's not a TED talk. It actually is it's a video that was presented by one of the radio practitioners out in the UK for, I think it was called Next Level. I don't think it's called Next Level. I'm thinking of the textbook, right? But we'll see in just a moment. It's a conference that the UK holds every single year, quite almost similar like our radio days that we had over here, and just that kind of vanished over the COVID period and then never came back. But yes, that's just the throw forward, a teaser as to what is going to be coming up in the lesson. Also, we are going to be looking at this. Well, this particular link is where the lesson comes from. So if you want the whole, I'm saying so all the content, just go and look there. You just click on there. It says there, obviously just click on that link there, and you'll find the material that we are using here and down. I'm saying so from here on. But we are going to be looking at this particular blog post, which is super cool. I'll tell you why. One, it's got some great promotional ideas that are like really creative. Shows just kind of the caliber of radio practitioners or professionals or broadcasters around the world, but also one of our own local regional stations. So South African regional stations made the cut. Actually, I think at number three for one of the top 10 best promotional or competition ideas in 20, I think it was 2024. We'll see in just a moment when that was released. Okay. No, okay. Nonetheless, let's continue with the lesson as to what are radio promotions. Now, you've obviously heard them while listening to the radio, and you might not know that there is, but you might, yeah, there are a couple of different types of promotions, and the way that we are going to break them down over the next couple of lessons, you'll be able to know that it's a promotion, like a promo. We're promoting something, right? So we're promoting an event. We're promoting maybe an NGO. Maybe we're promoting another show. on the station. It could be a giveaway, like a competition, which is also maybe sometimes called a contest, right? But used interchangeably, sometimes and sometimes not, depending on what it is that the actual promotion consists of or how it is structured. There's the word I'm looking for, right? So they are the radio promotion is a creative form of self-promotion that you can use to make your radio more popular with your listener. Once again, it's your current active listener that we are trying to reward. And that's the biggest reason why people, or should I say, stations, have competitions, right? One is to reward the listener, and two is a way to obviously bring in business with a client. So a client comes in for any one of these, a promo giveaway, contest, doesn't matter, some kind of activation, and they will obviously pay us a lot of money to be able to have their name branded like as a sponsor for this particular competition, right? So that's a twofold influence of why a radio promotion is actually run on a radio station, right? So it's never, ever, ever with the intent to draw listeners in and keep them there because you held a great competition. I'm going to keep saying this throughout lessons. It's really important because you're going to say to me, like there are massive competitions where you can win, for example, all your groceries paid for an entire year, which is a big deal because we know how much everything costs, right? But maybe there's a competition that does your groceries and your electricity now that it's gone completely way up, and it's prepaid sidebar, and also your water and sanitation. So we're going to put that in as well. And now it's this bigger competition. Now it's developing some traction, word of mouth, whatever. And other people who don't listen to the station might tune in because of the fact that they do need what the competition will obviously award to a winner, right? But it doesn't keep them there. That's the thing. We've learned this from, so this makes very common sense or logical sense because in the very beginning of teaching you radio, either in Radio 1 or Radio 2, we speak about we often speak about a radio station for a particular type of listener, demographic, a psychographic, whatever it may be, right? So 10 to 1, the reason why you're listening to a station is because you like that one, right? And you like it because of its presenters, because of its music, particularly, right? And also maybe of its service, right? So definitely of its service. So in other words, how is it servicing you as a listener or a community member, right? These are the reasons why. No, there is not, you're not flip-flopping between stations on a consistent level. In other words, I know that most of us listen to maybe two, maybe three stations at any one given time, but really gravitate only to one. Now, I'm talking about giving up your entire station for a completely new station, and that is where this comes in, where a listener will not give up their station just because of a really amazing promotion or a great competition. They won't stay there, right? What we do want to do, and I do repeat this in the next lesson, is want to do our best to present them with a great product, right? The two stations that they are flip-flopping between, like let's say, for example, ours with the competition or the giveaway that is super cool or super awesome or just out of this world, could be very similar in terms of formats, right? And could be in the same region, right, or the province or region, right? And so it might actually still be something that a potential listener could gravitate to as a first choice as opposed to a second choice, right? So there might be that, but otherwise it's not. It is genuinely for us to sit and make sure that the station isn't only about talking to the listener, whatever it is, and maybe sometimes including them in conversation and whatever it is. It is also about rewarding them at the end of the day. So, well, this particular, okay, let me just actually, let me finish this. Just about to jump the gun there. For example, holding a last person touching car contest, very popular. A mechanic, very popular, right? Where the last person left touching a car wins it, right? People will sit there for days and nights. Some of them will see that, for example, the other people have definitely got like a bigger commitment to this, and they'll say, ah, never mind, I'm going home, I need to sleep, or whatever. But the person that really needs a car, well, don't you worry, like stay there and keep the hand on their car forever, right? And you want to be able to kind of cover this in a visual aspect as well. So incorporate that into social media because it's more about really, really like seeing them and how sore their arms are or whatever it is, or what are the rules? Can you maybe switch hands? Can you do this? I don't know. I don't know. There's so many things that and I saw this in one of my favorite comedies. I don't tell you what that is. But anyway, where they were doing this, particularly with a really fancy, like, baby walker, right? Okay. And then one of the people, like, for example, just by mistake scratched their nose. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? They unwittingly, after many, many hours, when you become obviously fatigued and so on and so forth, we can chat to some of those people, etc., etc. Right. Okay. All right. So they will help grow your audience. In other words, for example, similar, the exact what we do to increase an audience, right? We get more of the same type of listener to devote themselves to our station and not something else, not only somewhere else like another station, but maybe not podcasts, maybe not TV, maybe not just like their own streaming choice of media, etc., right? So, I'll stop saying etc., etc. I do. Whew, yeah, I say that, but I'm not going to. I'll try. I'll try. Just laughing at myself. Anyway, I'm so sorry. There's here. I'm just gonna flip flop back. So I want to just give me a second. Let it share. You'll see the video now, but okay, it's there. There it is. It's coming out there. But I wanna log into this. This is that link. And we're going to see the best promotions around the best no, world's 10 best radio promotions according to radio. Click to load. It's going to load in just a moment. Right, and there we go. Actually, it was number two. Hey, how awesome is that? You can really see that Smile FM. Well done to them, man, with their ideas. Let's go through. We have enough time. Let's go through each one of them. Red FM Cork in Ireland. So Ed FM. It was a natural for Red FM number one for hit music to become Ed FM. Rebranding for charity or a hit artist has been a staple among radio promotions for a while. And the station first did the promotion in 2018. So when Sheeran, so Ed Sheeran, right, returned to the market, Red FM's repeat execution included an Ed FM bus rap, right, and then having Shape of You played at noon on the landmark bells of a local cathedral. That's really cool. As well as Sheeran calling the morning show to unsuccessfully guess the secret sound. Better luck with the concert. Good, the golden winner. It's the gold winner in Ireland's National Radio Awards. Very nice, eh? So it's a little bit of so ideas like this, for example, start with very small base ideas, right? That you might have seen somewhere else, and then takes a really, really just an engine. It's a little bit of ingenuity and a little bit of adaptation, customization to get a really great ideas out, right? Definition of creativity is saying, let me stand on the shoulders of greatness, right? So Smile FM did the Cape Town's loudest snorer. So this AC station spent 3 weeks having listeners submit videos of spouses and family members who kept them awake at night. Hundreds of entries were whittled to three, which were then rated with the help of the Snoreland app. The promotion was tied with Dial-A-Bet, so you can obviously see, as I said before, we're going to in a sponsor, right, or a client with exactly what makes sense to them as the activation, right, which provides a bed makeover. The winner also received the cash prize and an assessment at a local sleep center, another National Radio Awards winner. Okay, so the BBC Radio 1, BBC's Radio 1 Greg's Giant Jigsaw. Greg James, the morning host of the National Top 40 Powerhouse, was escorted off air and told he could only return upon completing a giant 20-piece jigsaw puzzle. Over 6 days, listeners found pieces across the UK from on air clues, including frozen in a block of ice and at a football stadium. The final piece was found on a beach with a metal detector. It's crazy, eh? Right. Radio 1 Slovenia. So Dezelak, the hero. So Dezelak Junak, right? This is a promotion's eighth. This is the promotion's eighth year at the AC station, the nation's largest commercial outlet. So morning co-host Micha Dezelak, right, spent 10 days traveling the entire country on a four-wheeler bike to raise money for charity. He was joined by celebrities and ended up raising €1 million for charity. Coincidentally, both Greg's giant jigsaw and this promotion ended with the presenters jumping off a giant pier. Morning host Dennis Abdik, right, was at RDE, and not sure what that is, right, and drew laughs at a session on music programming by complaining about the station's music, especially Adele. Okay. Let's see number 5. iRadio Ireland, TikTok mic drop. At some point, programmers have probably had to fend off the let's have listeners rap about concept in a sales or promotions meeting. In this case, iRadio had no trouble finding 14 to 24-year-olds willing to rap about driver safety for this promotion in conjunction with the local agencies across the region. Winners received €1,000. Number 6, ZM New Zealand, The Box. The national CHR powerhouse had a new variant on the Crack the Code Mystery Black Box promotion. We've seen that so many times as well. This time the box could talk and interact with callers. It's very cool. Great ideas, man. This is why they top 10. I get it. That would be a natural and positive use of AI for radio going forward. So there were also 25 TikTok videos producing 11 million views. And on one occasion, the box opened to reveal another box. The station's current promotion is ZM's next flight, where listeners win international flyaways but don't know where they're going to until the day before. Fair enough, right? I'm guessing it's some awful places. All right, and some great places, like a kind of like a, when you get like a, what was the lucky packet, right? Radio Veronica out in the Netherlands, Veronica Express. The October promotion for the Heritage radio station was based on the 1970 Festival Express, the cross-country Canadian train that became a rolling jam session for major artists. Listeners rode the most musical train in the Netherlands across the country, culminating in a 4-hour live concert at station studios that doubled as the debut of a live music show. That's awesome. These are all awesome. They're great. I'm going to say awesome for everyone. 8, Absolute Radio UK, Absolute Radio Kevin. Bowers National Rock AC station is already known for its innovative use of side channels and pop-up stations, including the recently reviewed Absolute Radio 40s. The winner, chosen from hundreds of entrants, was a 47-year-old dad with, fortunately, a decent on-air presence who created a 10-day radio station dedicated to music from debut singles and albums. That's awesome. Nice. Beat 102, 103, Waterford in Ireland. On the Run is the name of the promotion. Power's own station did a variant of The Fugitive, right? Which I'll speak about in the next lesson. Right, a popular international contest over the last 2 decades, and the BBC and BBC Radio 1's On the Run were both Power and the afternoon host. So Power and the afternoon host went missing and had to be located by listeners from clues. The promotion was meant to highlight lockdown restrictions, being lifted and operated on no fixed schedule, so with the help of a patient sponsor, and ended up lasting 3 days. Kiss FM, number 10 in Sydney, Australia, Carl's baby gender reveal. So ARN, so that's the Australian Radio Network, kind of like our SABC here. There at our top 40, Kiss FM has been a major success story over the last decade with the help of Carl and Jackie O, one of the world's most covered morning shows. The reveal was made from a yacht in Sydney Harbour by two fighter jets flying overhead in formation. This one did not seem to end with Carl Sandilands. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce his surname. Sandilands, right? Jumping into the water. Um, is there an American promotion that should have made this actual list? Well, that's not important, right? But that's pretty awesome. That was very cool. Enjoyed that. Let me stop the share over here. Just need to go back into the lesson. Just give it a second. Let me just pop back into the lesson. Let's finish that up and go look at this video. All right. Okay. So, slide number 3. Okay. So this again comes from that article that was listed in the links in the first slide over there. Come up with an idea. So what you need to do is research previous promotions that are done, as I said to you just a couple of minutes ago, right? So ride on the shoulders of geniuses, right? Because that is the definition of creativity. Once you go and see what has been done, perhaps maybe you can go and maybe not perhaps change it perhaps into, yes, you will go and do something fresh and fun and engaging from that by developing a new unique twist. So you can also think about what people need. You can do definitely, you can also say what you want to accomplish. Both need to be there. Right. Okay. So this is a difficult one. And we have seen many, say, I think it's called an iteration, right? Okay, of this particular type of competition. So it's not everyone can afford a Christmas present. So a relevant radio promotion might involve asking listeners to share reasons why they can't afford presents this holiday season. Then you can create a contest where the winner walks away with a shopping voucher. Secondly, you can also use promos to accomplish those goals. Okay. Now, just before we go there, right, if you want to promote your radio app, we'll get to that in a moment. So this is it's so very rewarding. It gives your station a lot of credibility, a great reputation, but it is um, it is hard on the producers. You understand? The producers predominantly are the ones, or the sales team still are the ones that have to go and investigate whether or not this person actually, one, for example, is in this situation, right? And then goes to go and assess. So can you just imagine having to go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 people that could possibly be winners, right? Or ultimate winners of a big Christmas giveaway, or like, for example, Jack Rander's Something with Angels. I can't remember. Good Morning Angels, right? Okay. And you are the person that says no to 6 out of the 7 people because it wasn't, and the truth of the matter is, it wasn't shiny enough, dazzling enough. It wasn't dramatic enough. So that's only that is the background or the back end bad side of that. But the promotion works enormously well, right? Okay, giving back to community, and a lot of sponsors get involved because they want to be people that are seen to want to provide help to their customers or clients or listeners or whatever it may be, right? Anyway, so if you want to promote, let's say, your radio app, what you should do is, one, make the app uniquely purposeful. So it shouldn't be a carbon copy of what is on your website, for example, and it shouldn't just be, let's say, a stream to your shows or podcasts or whatever it may be. the app should really involve or encompass or include a lot of things that only you'll find on the app that people download, subscribe to, and have access to certain things on the app, right? So offer listeners who download and use the app a chance to win money or other prizes, right? To get more likes and comments on social media, you could create a post and obviously reward people who share the post, and then obviously tag a number of their friends. We've seen this we still see it so many times. It's actually very annoying, right? It's a really very annoying competition mechanism because man, to get ad tagged, and then here's the worst one: please share to your story. Why? Like, can you not? I see that as really a sense of greed. I mean, come now, we already now are tagging friends now. Why must we not share it to a story of all places, right? So that it becomes too many instructions on social media, man, makes a competition bomb, right? Anyway, I'm saying quality wise, right? So put a plan in place to obviously execute our idea. If it is Christmas in 3 months, right? Then wait till the end of November to come up with a radio promotion. No, sorry, to come up with it as it was. So I think, where did I mention it? It's going to come up in the next lesson. Sorry, I recorded these back to front, right? But I talk of a digital calendar, right? And the calendar says, like, listen, if something's going to happen in Easter, for example, or let's say spring, you should be planning this and starting to plan the rollout 3 months before, right? So that you have the sponsor on board, you got the mechanics all like finely tuned, you've worked out all the kinks and problems, whatever it is. And obviously, there's a lot of production that goes into that, and obviously pre-promotion, current promotion, and then post-promotion as well, right? So, like you don't want to be left with too little time to do this properly. Otherwise, it's going to bomb, right? Brainstorm great topics every single month before you create the actual promo. And this is also the stage to think about your sponsors in beforehand. In other words, who would really fit like this? Is it like, are we doing something with pets? Then definitely I want like maybe someone that makes food for pets, like a pet product, or maybe the SPCA or something like. I'm not sure, right? We'd obviously link it directly into that. It wouldn't make sense to, for example, put Outsurance as a sponsor unless they now are providing pet insurance as well. So like pet medical aid or whatever it is, I'm not sure. Outsurance doesn't have medical aid. I don't have medical aid. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but my point is like, for example, that's a cool idea. Now you're going to get obviously like pet medical aid, and they would be great for a pet oriented, for example, competition or promo. Okay, examples here. You can partner with a wine store to create a radio series about wine. Then at the end of the series, a lucky listener may win a year's supply of free wine. So as you plan, consider the mechanics of the radio promotion. So I just mentioned, like you really have to work out whether or not this will make sense from step to step to step, from day to day to day, from week to week, if it does go on for that long, right? So how are the listeners going to participate? Are they going to DM you? Is there a special like number that they got to send basically a message to, like an SMS to? Are they going to get, like we said before, with an app? Are they going to be subscribing to a certain channel? What we don't know. How are they going to first participate? Are they going to just be on air and answer like something or whatever it may be? Who is going to select the winners, right? And please, this is where your station get into a lot of trouble. So we have to go look at the legalities that and terms and conditions of running a competition, and that it has to be made very clearly and very readily available to your listeners. Like for example, like on a website of yours, or landing page, and it'll show the like competition rules, etc., right? So there isn't any um for example, like a complaint or whatever it is afterwards that you have not covered, right? And there's kind of like vagueness around it, and then you are in trouble, right? Okay, so anyway, what are the contest rules? Are the prizes transferable? In other words, if let's say I've won, let's say a competition, like a holiday in Spain, can I change that to cash because I don't know, maybe I'm underage, for example, which should be one of the things that your terms and conditions should apply to. You understand? You can't enter unless you are over 18 or you do have a valid passport or right. But most prizes are not transferable. It's done, it's finished, it's that. Right. So is the contest open to only one member per household or more? And ideally, come on. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. So document your plan of action, then over the coming months or weeks, hold meetings to really just work out what the promo is about, how and what it's made up of. Then create and deploy. So right before you run your promo, it's a good idea to get everyone on board. It's a great idea to get everyone on board, from programming to sales to marketing to technical to everybody in the station, digital. Maybe I wouldn't say news, but fair enough, The news could, let's say, maybe include that as part of their tail ender, like, and finally, whatever it is, X station, our station, obviously, when I say X station, you say your station name, has crowned a winner. Has won a 1 million rand. So we can involve all our departments actually, if you think about it. So test out the delivery before you get it, please, out on air. Okay. Lastly, what makes engaging radio? It is sparking emotions, right? We've said this before. Emotivity is the main driver for a listener to be connected, right? Create some kind of reason for them to get happy or anxious or excited or whatever it is, competitive, right? To want to be able to, for example, measure the success of your competition or promo, right? Different listeners do react emotionally to different types of content as well as contests, right? Because a contest is still content. One study was conducted by the the Intelligence Agency, an internet and data strategy company, that says in order for radio stations to obtain the share of emotions, you need to use the following four kinds, and you've seen this before, right, of emotionally compelling content. Guess what? It's fubby. Remember, we learned about fubby um, and had two B's, but F was for fun or funny, U was for useful, B was for beautiful, the second B was for bold, and the last I, or the I, is for inspiring. Okay. So again, go and have a look at that for the whole, I'm saying for the whole article. I want to end off right now with that video and we'll end the lesson there. Let's just have a look here. So I'll put that there. I will maximize it in just a moment. Right. It's coming. Give me, yeah. Hold on a second. Here it comes.
This is Next Radio 2016 with Broadcast Bionics. Innovative solutions for creative people.
Hold on a second now. Just wait. Oh my word. It's going to come up now. Just give me a second, yeah?
I'll start out by saying that as an American in the UK in September 2016, I will answer the question that I know I will be cornered about. No, I have no idea, and God help us. So, in the US, our methodology for ratings is called PPM, and PPM is like tea leaves. You can look at it, and if you are a selector geek, you can certainly see evidence that supports your way of programming. If you're like me and like to toasters, there's definitely evidence that works too. PPM has taught us a couple of things. The first is that even incentivized, very few people want to wear 1980s style drug dealer pagers on their belt. It hasn't taught us what brings people in, but it's taught us what drives people away. And this is shocking. I would never have figured this out, but long, blathering talk breaks drive people away. That right there is worth PPM. Which is why in the US, a lot of times when they're looking for talent, they will say we're looking for somebody who is PPM friendly. I am not PPM friendly. I've continued to break myself of this habit, and it's been unsuccessful, and now I'm being timed. I have a finite amount of time to present some ideas. So I'm wearing an electric dog shock collar. All ideas seem great conceptually. I've talked to Kate. Kate seems to be the least sadistic person in the room.
How's it work?
Okay. If I go longer than 60 seconds, hit number 1.
Okay.
If you hit number 2, I will go number 2. If you hit number 3, decades of work by psychiatrists and chemicals will be immediately reversed.
Okay.
And if you hit number 4, the power grid to Liechtenstein will go out.
Okay.
Number 1. And if you even...
Can I try it now?
No! So we're going to start with 17 or 18 ideas. Live Eye, The Fugitive, we know, is a promotion where we try to find an individual who is on the streets based on audio clues. Live Eye is taking an iPhone, putting it in your pocket or in the mesh of a backpack, streaming through Ustream to the station site, and finding an individual based on live, real-time video. In DC, as Mr. Diven had talked about, we have a YouTuber as the night talent. Her name's Elizabeth, and she's nuts, which is why she's so good. She did Periscope for a Pair, which was her sitting in a park with a tablet seemingly working, and you found her based on the panorama that you were able to see. Beat ya. Pumpkin drops. If you look at the first couple segments or years of David Letterman, he was into throwing shit off buildings. It seemed to work for him. Visual payoff, but you still have to listen to the radio. And I know I'm old school that way, but I think it's good. In the case of Halifax, they filled a pumpkin with several hundred golf balls, all numbered, and dropped it from a crane. The golf ball furthest from the target won a trip to the Playboy Mansion on New Year's Eve. TV loves this shit. Losing a digit. You can only do this once. Anytime you mess with the way you present the name of the radio station, it will get people's attention. So in the case of the station in Dallas, we flipped the website for a day. And it activated people. People called us, what's going on? It was, we outsourced it to India. We're going to fire all these people. If you lose the digit of a radio station, become, say, Power 96, the #1 CHR in Miami for 30 years, becoming Power 9 in all of their imaging, everything online. They took it off the vehicles. It got people's attention. Find the person who stole it, recover it, win $10,000. Live with. As a promotion director, I was lazy. I always like to have the listeners mark it for me. So giving a selected group of 20 or 30 listeners cutouts of the morning show to carry with them everywhere they go, job interviews, selling plasma, whatever you do, carry it with you. Earn points. Get a photo of you in the lobby of the competition, earn 300 points. Listeners on the streets can win daily prizes for catching you in snapping and posting and hashtagging. Or in Calgary, we found 20 people and put them in pink jumpsuits for 30 days. This will get people's attention. The prize was $5,000 and a trip to see Pink in Australia. It was a wonderful, wonderful way of doing, see, I'm doing good.
You're good, I'm on a zap.
Oh, bitch. Oh, okay. If you have people wandering the streets of your market wearing pink bodysuits, it will get people's attention.
Oh, that's close.
What I've discovered is that men can go out and do misogynistic things on our own whim. Women, you have to kind of create events or excuses or experiences. So in the case of San Francisco, after 10 years of multiple morning shows, we realized that the real franchise of the station was Renee, the midday talent. So one time we tried the Bachelor Night Out. 2,000 of her favorite listeners and 50 male strippers. It was one of those things where the next day we had to get together and all look at each other and went, holy crap. They do it quarterly. In the case of Rochester, New York, they do Dear Widow's Ball, the one weekend where all the men in Rochester go out and shoot deer, party for the women. In the case of Calgary, they flew a plane of listeners to Las Vegas for the night. 50 women, the women from the air staff. Ah, shit. I can't talk no more. They flew to Las Vegas. They got there at 7 p.m. They got hammered. They returned to work soaking. Ah, shit. Okay, I'm moving. Exotic erotic ball. This was an idea that was co-opted from the sex industry's Halloween party in San Francisco. It is a Halloween party. Every liquor, every establishment that sells liquor is going to have a Halloween party. So you need a hook. The hook in this case, huge cash prizes. If you have huge cash prizes, you get the professional costume people, followed by naughty prizes. In Tampa, in the 3 days after the Exotic Erotic Ball, they got 1.8 million web views, which seems to support my premise or theory that semi-nudity works on the internet. Closest to the pinhead. Taking a morning DJ, putting him out on a golf course, having listeners hit golf balls at him. This is the reason I chose not to go into medicine. The person who was closest to him, without hitting him, won a trip. Closest to the pinhead. Lick It for Tickets, a great web contest. Every day you give out a theme. Tools, vegetables, automobiles, toilet seats. Every day take a photo of yourself, and that's a million fetishes rolled into one. Take a photo of yourself licking something, hashtag, post, share. Random people win the prize. Gas Wars. We have prizes available to us that nobody in the real world will ever get to go to. Nobody will ever get to meet an artist. So what you do is you offer the opportunity to, say, to meet Justin Bieber to the gas station owner who will sell gas for the cheapest price. In Minneapolis, we got it down to negative 10 cents a gallon. You got 10 gallons of gas and $1. Ha! Charging stations, very simple. We're always looking for excuses for people to stop at our events. We want them, especially in PPM, we want them to stop for a few minutes, be bombarded by our audio, and charge, and we can overthink pricing. Giving people electricity at an event works. The one on the left was built by the promotion director in his garage. I'm watching you. Photos set up for concerts. As a promotion director, I loved concerts because how often do you get 18,000 people? There's 2 ideas in this, so I get 2 minutes.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, a little later I'll put this on you. We'll talk, okay?
I might have to have a choice in that.
No. I've always liked concerts because, again, when do you have the opportunity to market yourself to all these people? What you find with most radio stations is they'll have their prize wheel or they have something else out there. In 2016, what people want is they want a place to get their photo taken. And this isn't necessarily rocket science. So Dierks Bentley was playing St. Louis. He had a song about drinking on a plane. So the show or station built a setup with seats from an airplane and flight attendants. Quote balloons. In Miami, they use those. Stand, get your photo taken with one. Ah, shit! I was supposed to have 2 minutes. Okay. And the one on the left, let me finish this one. The one on the left, shit, this hurts. Left was the promotion director in Miami built a seat for The Voice. They had Maroon 5 coming in. For $30, he stole a seat out of a garbage can and built this. And it was amazing. You had long lines of people who wanted to get their photo taken care of. When you're at events, you want long lines of people. Much like this. VIP. For large events, and especially the women know this, by about noon, the porta potties are functified. So in the case of Seattle, Seafair is a huge event. We got our own porta potty, gave away VIP passes, and you got access to it. No lines. It was like Planet Hollywood. They had designer fragrances there. They had some candies and stuff. Again, we can overthink pricing. Plus, it was a nice hook. Name change. You can only do this once. But you will find situations where there will be a child in the community who needs to be spotlighted. In this case, it was a kid who was the #1 news story in the region. They changed for one day. People who had never heard of this radio station had changed their profile photo. In the case of Washington, D.C., it was a girl named Rachel who had leukemia. And somebody at the station had spotted that all of her classmates were going out and doing swabbing to find her a bone marrow transplant. So for one day, Hot 95.5 in Washington, D.C. became Rachel 95.5. And they swabbed close to 100,000 people at locations around town. You can only do it once, but it's an amazing thing. It's the stuff that Sirius can't do. And we find ourselves in situations where we try to out-Sirius. You can't. This is the stuff that wins. Win a baby. If they had said, 5 couples were looking for one who's having fertility problems and you will win a $17,000 in vitro fertilization prize, it wouldn't have been as successful as this. And by the way, when you went to the website and clicked on it, the next image was of a little black baby. And it said, actual baby may vary. At the very end, all 5 couples were in the studio. They had cameras on them all. And they announced the winner. All 5 couples. For the next year, they were able to do post-promotion and announce new babies. It was really an amazing, great feel-good. The last contest, the biggest contest in U.S. history. It was named the last contest for no reason other than that the biggest movie in the country at the time was The Last Picture Show. It's a promotion also done as Last Prize Standing, where we take $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 and make it sound like $100 million. You sit down with a case of beer and a shock collar, and we come up with all these prizes. What can we buy for $10,000? What can we, no, I'll do it. Go ahead. Ah, shit. Did you notice that? I'm just having flashbacks to 3rd grade, stuff I forgot. You sit down and you come up with all these prizes. What we've done in 2016 is we've dumbed down stuff like winning $10,000. So in the case of the last contest, prize pack number 216. Win thousands and 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 thousands of dollars in cash. Instead of saying win a cherry red Corvette, it was a 60-second sexy description of this car and what effect it would have on your life. It was absolutely amazing. And the winner was going to get a pick of all those packages. When they finally did it, it shut down phone service to 40% of San Diego. Skydiving. We've so successfully dumbed down contesting that we can't get more than 7% of people to play. In the case of Houston, they had a car to give away. So we gave away 95 grids on the ground, and Sarah, the morning show, Sarah Pepper. What an amazing name, Sarah Pepper. Sky dove in. If she landed in your grid, you won the car. Note, she asked what would happen if the parachute didn't open. I said the person who had the largest chunk of her land in their grid, and plus we'd name a studio after her, which is what we always do. I love to steal shit. I paid a security guard in Minneapolis to steal the toilet seat from Katy Perry's bathroom and give it away. Again, 1,000 fetishes in one contest. Sleep with Mariah Carey. First of all, who hasn't? Second of all, in the case of San Francisco, I got the hotel to give me her bed after she checked out. We replaced it with a traded out bed. You know that somewhere in the Bay Area, I'm taking this off now, you know that somewhere in the Bay Area, there's somebody who has her bed and still brags about it. Years ago, I stole a pizza box from a production room at a New Kids on the Block concert. Got on the air the next day and said, we're giving away Little Joe's pizza box. It might have been, who knows. Phones exploded, and somewhere in the Carolinas, 25 years later, there's a middle-aged woman with a greasy pizza box in her closet. Sleep with is amazing. Bon Jovi did it. You got the autographed bed sheets off his bed. There's any number of different ways to do it. And that was my session. I came out 2 minutes short.
This is Next Radio 2016 with Broadcast Bionics. Innovative solutions.
Cool. So now you know where to also find them, right? Next, I just said it was next level. Anyway, sidebar. Okay, you just stop the share right there. Okay. And let me just get back to Zoom. Of course, if there are any questions, as always, just contact me via the WhatsApp group, and yeah, I'll see you in the next lesson. Right.